And welcome to Gangneung. You're looking there at the fabulous venue that is the Gangneung Hockey Center. And here we are on the east coast of the Republic of Korea in beautiful views, as you have seen all week if you've been joining our coverage of the Olympic and what will be Paralympic Park as well. But right now, it's a contest for who will be World Para Ice Hockey Champions. And we've been enjoying that coverage all week as we are in day number 7 high above Gangneung Hockey Center. We'll go inside here now and see about our last match of day number 7. It's Norway taking on Italy, and this match is still to determine who will be taking place and their part in that bronze medal matchup. It'll be against Republic of Korea. That has been confirmed, but this in the last match of day number 7 in the preliminary round, we still have that very interesting 4th position. Brent Pope alongside Mike Kelly, and as we look forward to this one, really, this one's a difficult one to call. As much as the Italians may be the favorites in this one, it's all going to come down to 45 minutes of play.
The Italians right now have the lead in the standings, but the Norwegians can still catch them and still end up playing in that bronze medal game against the Republic of Korea. The Italians coming off a very emotional victory. They stormed back and were able to defeat the Republic of Korea yesterday as that game went to a shootout, the first shootout game we've seen so far in this tournament. So they're riding high, but because they weren't able to win the game in regulation, it's opened the door a little bit for the Norwegians, who are 3 points back in the standings. If they get that regulation win, they will then move into a tie points-wise with the Italians, but because they will have won the game, they will hold the head-to-head tiebreaker. So lots on the line here as these two countries get set to battle. What a perfect way to finish this tournament. Has been phenomenal so far. It's game number 21 on the final day of the preliminary tournament, and it's got a lot on the line, a potential berth in this bronze medal game.
And as expected, the tournament shapes out so that we will have that. And of course, the players on the ice have played perfectly for us to have that on the 21st game. Still something to play for to determine who is going to compete. Yes, by right, potentially, whoever loses this game is going to maybe qualify directly through to these Paralympics in Pyeongchang, but not necessarily, as they could be playing and end up in 6th position. So still lots of movement potentially, but Mike had an opportunity to catch up with the coaches beforehand, and he will have had a chance to chat with the Italian coaches, and they'll give us their views ahead of this match.
Coach, we haven't had an opportunity to speak to you since that thrilling victory yesterday, a comeback win against the Republic of Korea. What was that like emotionally for your team to come back and win that hockey game in such an exciting way?
Yeah, we play good game. We start not so good the first period. From the second period, we will play very well, and we never stop to fight. We try to believe at the end, and we find two goals at the last period. We try to do our best also in penalty shot, and we win the match. So we won the match, so it's good.
So because of that result, now you're in a situation where if you pick up at least 1 point in this game, you know that you'll be playing for a bronze medal. Are you happy with being situated where you are at this point in the tournament? When you were coming into the tournament, would you have been happy being where you are today?
Yeah, if yesterday we won the match in the regular time, it's better, but it's okay. We have this game. We always play at the best all games that we have, so we try to do our best for win the game, not stop at 1 point, but we want fight and we want win.
Anything with the lineup different, or the line combinations the same as all the regulars in the lineup, or is there anything of note that has changed?
Oh, we have just one change about one defensive man, Andra McCree, and we change with the other guys. I told you yesterday we have a lot of guys, so we can change some different player. It's good.
Playing a Norwegian team here, they have a number of very skilled players on their team. Auden Bakke is one guy that stands out, number 22 up front for them. What's the key to success for your team going to be in this game if you want to have a victory in the end?
Oh, we have to start very tough. We have to play tough. We have to make a good forecheck. We have to play good from the start of the match. We haven't to wait the other team, but we have to go fast.
How much does Gregory Leperdi like hitting people? It seems like he really enjoys it. He's a physical player.
Yeah, it's a tough guy. It's a big guy, so it's hockey. It's good. It's a very tough player.
I'm sure it'll be a physical game. We appreciate it, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, and I want just to say hi to our captain, Andrea Chiarotti, that it's at home for an injury. So, ciao chats. Thanks.
I'm sure he'll be watching. Thank you.
So we hear that Andrea Macri, the defenseman number 18 for the Italian side, will not be in this game. The reason for that, he has been suspended for the remainder of the tournament for a teeing infraction. We'll take another look at it here. It was in the game against the Republic of Korea, getting the sled up and right into the upper body there. That warrants the suspension, so the Italians will be playing a little short-handed. Macri has been really good for them in this tournament so far, so they will feel a loss there, not having him in the lineup for this game, a very critical game as we talk about the opportunity to play for a bronze medal, or if they lose in regulation, they'll have to play in that 5-6 game, and there's a scenario where they could not even qualify automatically for the Paralympic Games.
It's a tough one for Andrea Macri and the Italian team, but as you saw it there on replay, it's a worthy call, and of course the 2-game suspension, which of course means the rest of the tournament. So Mike also had an opportunity to catch up with Norway's coach, Espen Hedge, ahead of the match as well.
Coach, big game here coming up, big implications on the line. If you guys get a regulation win and collect the full 3 points, you will advance to the bronze medal game. What's the mood like in the room here ahead of this match?
I think you guys look pretty calm in there. They know what's on the line. They're ready to give it all, and we feel prepared.
Everybody, all the regulars in the lineup for this game, and who's your starting goaltender?
We're going to go with Hamar today. Besides that, everybody's dressed. Everybody's excited to get it going.
I know you gave a couple of your star players, if you will, Pedersen and Bogle, a chance to rest in the last game as well. Was that a conscious decision, knowing that there would likely be some big implications here in this final game in the preliminary round?
Yeah, I mean, we had would have some difficulties against the Americans, so we tried to play that one smart and rest everybody to this game.
What's the key for you going to be playing against this Italian team? We've seen them play a physical brand of hockey, and they're coming off a pretty emotional victory as well, so things will be riding high for them. What's your game plan here going in?
We need to have some respect for the shooters. I mean, Rosa, Plankir, Caligaris, great players. We need to have respect for that, and besides that, play our game and have discipline.
Wish you the best of luck, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
There we hear Coach Hegde talking about a couple of players the Norwegians will have to focus on in this game. Nils Larch, 6 points for this team. He leads them in goal scoring. Or rather, Sandro Caligaris leads them in goal scoring. Caligaris has 5 of the Italian goals in this tournament. The Italians have scored 11, so he's a huge goal scorer for them. Nils Larch, as I mentioned, he's tied with Caligaris in points with 6, but it's Rosa on the back end who really moves the puck so well for this Italian side. We take a look at him here in warm-up. Gianluigi Rosa with 4 points in 5 games in the tournament. And if you are Norway, if you want to try to kill the snake in this game, you got to cut the head off, and that is Gianluigi Rosa. He's such a great puck mover. He skates so well, and the Italians really count on him to move that puck up the ice. So if the Norwegians can find a way to slow him down and take away his time and space, it will bode well for them in this game.
And particularly without Macri in the lineup, Rosa is that much more of a player that will be relied upon for Italy today. And so having to go right at him, Norway, if they can be physical on Rosa and, of course, try to limit the amount of time that he has the puck on the stick, he generally seems to be able to find a way to make plays even when players are aggressive on him. He's very thoughtful, very considered, and, of course, has that long-ranging motion, and he's a big body out there that's very difficult to get around. So that is a focus for Norway in this one for sure. We are just moments away as we get ourselves prepared for this final match in the preliminary round. Norway and Italy coming up from inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. Make sure to join us. Welcome back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. The referees have just made their way out onto the ice, and it's the American Jonathan Morrison in charge of this one. He, the referee, with the orange stripes on his arms there and on his line. It is Chae Young-jin, the Korean, and from Serbia, Tibor Vasekis are the two linesmen for this one. Both of the teams are in their respective alleyways, getting ready to return to the ice. Of course, warm-up well gone behind us, and the ice resurfaced. It's just now a few minutes before we start the action again. Italy just chomping to get themselves going, as there it is, Hamar, who looks to be getting the start. Shell Christian Hamar in goal, and he 1.30 goals against average, a good number for him. He'll have to be at his best today for Norway.
No doubt about it, the Italians, very capable team. They'll be riding high off of that thrilling comeback victory against the Republic of Korea yesterday. We'll take a look at the Italian roster. And not only did Espen Hegde, the coach for Norway, touch on Gianluigi Rosa, he mentioned Florian Planker as well, veteran for the Italian side, 40 years old. He has been playing pair ice hockey since 2007. And Nils Larch has been a phenomenal player. We touch on him also. And Gregory Leperdi, we heard from the Italian coach how much he loves to be physical and throw his weight around. So the Italians will look for him to play that type of game here tonight.
And now we'll look at the Norwegian lineup. Kjell Hamar looks to be getting the start in goal. He gets the nod. Rolf Einar Pedersen, he missed the game earlier in the tournament, not because he was injured, but I think they were resting him. He's back in the lineup, number 3. He'll be one to be looking out for. Knut Norstoga as well, a danger man on the back end, can shoot the puck well. Their number 22, Odin Bakke, scored those 2 goals in the victory they got in overtime over Germany earlier in the tournament. Avdol, one to be looking for. Magnus Bogle, equally, they've got pretty good balance across that lineup. And then you see there, number 71, Ola Oiseth, who was injured earlier in the tournament, but back in the lineup, and that's good to see that he's back healthy and contributing to this Norwegian lineup.
Lloyd Remy Solberg is actually the leading goal scorer for this team. He's got 3 goals in 4 games for the Norwegians. We take a look at the head coaches, Massimo Durin for Italy behind the bench. And for Norway, it is Espen Hegde, who actually made a good point just before I did that interview with him, that I was slightly mixed up in the broadcast yesterday talking about this game in terms of the tiebreakers and all of that. I mentioned the goal differential. It actually won't come into play in this game, as the head-to-head is the first tiebreaker, and since these teams are playing each other here today, if Norway gets the full 3 points and they are tied, it is the head-to-head that is the tiebreaker. So it's as simple as this. If Norway wins in regulation, they're in. If they don't, Italy's in. We take a look at the starting goaltenders in this game, and for the Italians, they go with Gabriel Araudo, number 15, 274 goals against average, 820 save percentage. He has played 213 plus minutes, only 16 minutes for Stilatano, so he's been the guy, the workhorse for the Italians.
And he'll have to be their number 1 here today as we look across at Hamar. 1.30, 82.61 save percentage. Those are good numbers, but of the two, maybe Araudo has at times maybe outperformed, maybe a little bit more spectacular in goal for Italy, but it's not necessarily about being spectacular now. It's about, can you make the shots when they count? And in a one-off game, as you say, it was just really do or die for both of these teams. Win in regulation, and you've got the opportunity to compete for a bronze medal at these World Championships. So both teams are ready. And it's just the referee, the American, Jonathan Morrison, who's just awaiting the countdown of the clock. Caligaris, a danger man. We've seen him on the penalty kill. We've seen him score key goals. We were talking about how he's a little bit quiet ahead of that Korean game, or in that Korean game there yesterday, and then he found a way to get on the board when it mattered most. But we, here on game number 21, the final one of game day 7, it's going to be Leperdi in to take this draw up against his counterpart on this one, Magnus Bogle. And Bogle with 3 assists in the tournament so far. Leperdi, the big body for Italy.
Game on.
And referee not quite happy with the puck drop, and not entirely sure what the situation was there, but it'll be a restart just outside the Norwegian blue line.
Game on for 3 seconds.
It was a quick one.
saw a stretch of about 7 minutes in the game that was played at 3 o'clock today, local time. America, Republic of Korea, where there was no whistle. And yeah, it took us all 3 seconds to get our first one, but we're back underway. And here's Pedersen, great mobile defender. And this will be a really interesting matchup, watching the number 3s on each team. Watching Rosa for Italy, Pedersen for Norway on the back end. Both great skaters, both great puck movers. You get the feeling if one of them can have a significant impact, it might be enough to propel that team to victory. And a long shot here in on goal. The Italians will regroup behind their net.
And here is Rosa with control of it. He's making his way out again. He just seems to find a way. He's that long, lanky frame, almost a little bit just kind of a loping giraffe coming from behind that blue line. And I say that with just generally his height, his size, and his length, how he goes about doing his business. And he certainly doesn't draw a lot of attention immediately to him. He seems to have more time on the puck than most any other player on the ice when he does play. It's Calogaris will be the first one to it for Italy in the offensive zone as we're now on past a minute of play. And Calogaris just maybe a little ambitious there, a little heavy-handed to give that play to Rosa. Rosa, I think, was coming in to provide an option for him to maybe rotate around the top. And now Calogaris with that long pass up. And Norway will just sit in that neutral zone. They'll take away the passes. If you are a little bit careless, they read the game very well. They've got good hockey IQ. And both of these teams rely on making good decisions on the ice, and be no different here today. Look at Rosa, just hold on to that puck. He drops it off, and that's always a little bit of a dangerous play you've got to feel when you're Rosa, generally the last man, dropping that puck back. But here comes Norway. Norway with the offload, maybe coming to the backside. Klakegg could get a shot from here. He's in a good position here, Klakegg. This is dangerous. And right off the shoulder of Arado, that's as good a look as you want to have for Norway to start this hockey game.
Good opening sequence here for the Norwegians. A drop pass misses the intended target, but a very nice follow-up there and a good opportunity and a whistle here. Ooh. Offside on the call, and that is a close one. It's just ahead of the play as Klakegg. We'll take another look here at this chance. What a great look and what great patience here to get the shot away in open ice. Arado coming up with a very nice shoulder save to keep this one at zeros.
Arado puts the glove up there to force him away from going that short side. It looked from that angle as if short side high was the better look, but he goes long side and it goes off the shoulder. And these teams, I tell you, it's going to be a different complexion to this one because it really is going to be coming down, and I feel, to a mental mistake. But we talk about the 2-3s. Let's just put our hat right in the ring here. I'm going to say that whichever of the threes plays better, that team is going to be successful. As Norway, much cleaner passing so far in this hockey game. Of course, their last game, they play against the Americans yesterday morning, and that's always going to be a challenge. That's turned over. Here's Pedersen in a great spot, but he can't control it cleanly as Planker, who scored that big goal, was involved there yesterday, sets up and gets things started with that face-off win. He's involved, and this for Arado, he's been the busier of the two early in this game.
Well, that was an errant pass right up the middle of the ice. You never want to go there unless you have an intended target that you know you can hit. And fortunate for Italy as Pedersen has the puck just go off the tip of his stick, unable to get an opportunity. But defensive plays like that are not going to bode well for the team in white. They'll look to clean that up here as the game goes on.
And they're going to, of course, need to. It's that is not in the playbook for Italy. A team, as we say, very considered, and generally they just don't make a lot of mistakes, and they're not necessarily a high-powered offense either, but when they get given an opportunity, they're generally pretty good at it. That's a big body contact as Planker catches a piece of Pedersen, and Pedersen is a pretty wide body, strong on the puck. He gets it back, and he's going to look just to see what's his best option. Klakegg already had that good shot, and Klakegg has this one broken up, and they're going to chase it down here now. And to the near side, that's Antoshi, who just gets that puck into the zone. It's a good angle dump in. But 5 players back for Norway in a low position, and that is good shape for them. As now Pedersen has Antoshi right on him. He'll fire it around, and both of these teams need to let the puck do the work for them. And another offside as the face-off will just be outside of Norway's blue line, and action has come thick and fast already. We are scoreless inside this first period. 10:49 remaining between Norway and Italy. And a little bit scrappy so far in this opening period between Italy and Norway. A couple of uncharacteristic turnovers from Italy have left an opportunity for Norway to really challenge Arado in Italy's goal. But this is Rosa again. And I can't think of a time in this tournament with Rosa where I thought to myself, that was a real blatant mistake. I haven't seen him make one. He just generally, every play, even if he's not able to advance it as he might want to, he puts it into an area for at least a 50-50 challenge for the Italian player to get onto it.
A very dependable player for the Italian side, and he eats up a lot of minutes for them. Why not when you have somebody that can move the puck on the back end the way that he can? Just always seems to be in the right position. He's a very technically sound player. And as we've talked about already, it will be interesting to see the matchup between the two number 3s here in this hockey game.
Odin Bakke takes a shot, and more so really just dumps it around for Klake to get it. You just see the 4 defensemen for Norway, so relying heavily on Pedersen, and of course, they got Klake out there as well. And Hamra back in a position. Norstoga, the blue liner, really, with Klake in this unit, as it's now Rosa in behind the goal, and Rosa just seems to be appearing all to himself as he tries to make the first play out. He goes for a drive by Odin Bakke with a flip in on Arado, and Calogaris has to come back and just clean things up a little bit, as he had seen enough of just the miss attempts of trying to get out of their own zone. And he says, well, let's just reset it, but it's going to go for icing here, as Calogaris was the right winger who might have been going forward to advance onto that puck, and inside their own zone again. So the majority of the play in the territory so far for Norway in the opening just under 6 minutes of play.
A big hit there right at the whistle. We take a look at the coaching staff for the Norwegians. It was Jakobsen throwing an absolute beautiful hit there right at the door by the Italian bench. So the physical play ramping up a little bit here. An offensive zone draw for Norway. It will be Bogle taking it on a bit of a scrambled draw, as Norway looking to try to get something past Arado. A couple good chances already early in this game. Certainly the better of the two teams here so far.
Into the corner, and Norway with some good shape. As you say, very dependable, well-coached, good disciplined side. And although they, at one point in time, one might say that they were at the top of the tree in para ice hockey, that's seen a considerable shift since then. Canada had its turn at being at the top, and now quite clearly it's the Americans who sit top of the para ice hockey world in their overall dominance in this sport. But Norway have pedigree. They have some history. They also have, as we say, a good foundation of success in para ice hockey as they move it around, let the puck do the work, and they are playing a good hockey game here so far. They're executing a game plan. A good little pick there has provided room for Bogle, and Bogle is just going to turn up. He maybe plays it in ill-advised. Might have had a better option to go back to the blue line, but look at Bogle still going. He's doing a 360 spin around, and I'm not sure if he isn't still just slipping down the mountainside there. He might have just dragged the puck right with him.
Well, we'll see if we can get another look of that one. Bogle with a great opportunity in front of the net, and if he just goes to his left hand, he's got a wide open shot here. You'll see him get the puck. If he goes to his left, he can shoot it in the open lane, but he tries to go to his right. By the time he gets the puck into a shooting position, all sorts of bodies led by Florian Planker back there to break it up. And no shot on goal for the Norwegians. They dump one in here, and Italy will look to clear the zone.
We don't expect necessarily the play and the goals in these games to come off of odd man rushes. This is another broken play here for Norway. What a shot for Arado as he looks handcuffed on that play. That was Thomas Abdahl who gets the heat up in around the head area of Arado, and he has been the busier of the two, and there's no doubt of that as he takes another one side on and has pretty good tight positioning to make sure nothing squeezes through his body, and he controls it for a Italian defensive zone face-off.
Well, we were wondering which team was going to be the one to come out here and dictate play as we're close to halfway through the first period here. We see some fine dancing in the stands. It's been the Norwegians dictating the play. They've come out with a couple of really good opportunities so far to start this game. The Italians riding high after that thrilling win against the Republic of Korea. Another save by Arado on a point shot. So we wondered if the Italians would be able to carry some of that momentum perhaps into this game, but it has been all Norway. For the Norwegians, they also know that the door was open for them a little bit because the Italians weren't able to get a full 3 points. That's why they have an opportunity here to potentially get in the bronze medal game. They might have been unsure if that was even going to be a chance for them, as a penalty is coming up here against the Norwegian side, an interference call, so the Italians will go to the power play.
And they have, as we have said, really been in the ascendancy of this first period. The way Norway have approached it, but they take a penalty and just get a little bit overzealous maybe. But you saw a moment ago that replayed shot of Pedersen, how he just tries to utilize a screen, shaping in front of him, seeing if he can't be deceptive in behind a moving target in front of goal. But now Italy, for the first time in this hockey game, look for a moment to be offensively going to challenge Hamar in goal for Norway, as Rosa immediately right on it and up into an offensive position.
Jakobsen getting the gate for interference. And the Italians will hope to get their first shot on goal here and really their first look at all at some zone time.
It's not a bad idea there from Planker, just to bank it with the backhand. We've seen that work well. Lepardi, who hasn't scored in this tournament as yet, but he certainly has been a presence and out here in his #1 unit, as Rosa doesn't elect just to move it down quickly. Oh, that's clever, Rosa. That's exactly what we're referring to. He is in a difficult place, and he threads it right through the eye of a needle, or literally through his own sled. And from one hand to the other, able just to avoid the stick check that was coming in. Nils Larch. Patience from Italy right now is the order of the day, as they might be able to come out here and make something happen here against the run of play, as Nils Larch just gets a weak shot off, but he puts enough pressure on the puck that it's still inside the offensive zone. And there from Norway, they've been able to clear that line, and all of the Italians will have to come out before they regroup and go back in on this forecheck. Will that be enough time to get it down? It's at least into the neutral zone. And Rosa, a little bit of a miscue there. This has allowed maybe Varnes to come in and put some pressure on, but Rosa allows Varnes into the corner under his direction. And Calogeris to Rosa. Lepardi maybe an option, but it's now to the near side, and Nils Larch. And this is the unit of any that's going to get it done, as we are 15 seconds remaining on this power play. Norstoga bumping his man off. It's been collected in the far corner by Calogeris. And the final seconds now, they'll need to advance it forward. That could always do something. It, more often than not, maybe is better than a design shot. Just that element of surprise is there, up and over. And I think that if it was on, potentially Hamar was caught out. And Planker with that elevated trajectory, and now Italy have just returned the favor right back, in Norway get the opportunity to go with the man advantage. So the two sides trading power plays in this opening period. 5:14 remains, and we are still scoreless. Norway with a 5-on-4 advantage, and as they have had the lion's share of offensive zone possession, here they are again with a face-off, and Bogla on it, back on the blue line is Norstoga. They'll try to win the puck through to him. They've done well to get the bodies in front of Arado, but he's seen everything so far, and Rosa gives a good body check there to Klake, keeps him honest, and Bogla immediately attracting Winkler. This is an aggressive Italian formation. They're just pushing right on that time and space of Norway, giving them not a whole lot to look at. Odin Bakke handcuffed right now, and he's certainly squirming his way out of immediate danger here. It's down low, but haven't been able to collect it cleanly, and then Planker will just get it out. And both of these teams just doing enough at the moment to keep this scoreline as we are currently witnessing. No score in this game that will determine who is going to go through. If it's a regulation win for either side, they will get a position in that bronze medal game against Republic of Korea tomorrow, which will be the matinee affair. Here is Norway. What a chance there. Elevated. Arado forces that shot up and over the goal. And they've kept it in the zone, but only for a moment. Jakobsen has got some room. He can step in from here, as Italy had their backs to him, and I weren't sure if they knew that he had the puck, and everybody was kind of turning, looking, and wondering just where the play was coming from.
Not a great play there by Jakobsen, as he was unable to keep the line, but he circles back here, and Norway having difficulty getting into the offensive zone, so finally Jakobsen will just fire it in. 25 seconds to go here on the power play. The Italians weren't able to do much with theirs, and now Norway, an opportunity for one last rush as they'll circle back and get players moving up ice with some speed.
Norway are heavily reliant upon Pedersen to set the table for them. Those couple of goals that we did see from Odin Bakke in that game against Germany, but now Magnus Bogle coming in, and then Rosa. Rosa really is a game breaker, and not necessarily because of his electrifying speed. It's just that he wears the opponents down, often winning the pucks when they think that they may be a competition for it. He just gets there first, has great anticipation as much as he has that long-ranging stride to get onto the puck. But this for Odin Bakke, and Planker this time just doesn't quite take it on the first touch. But the angles, the pivoting right now from the Italian players, getting away, being very evasive. There's a good move, the escape move from Pedersen, but there almost looked like Caligaris. You get a sense that the Italians have a couple players like a Caligaris, maybe even a Nils Larch, that could go and take a break and maybe force the issue, even to Pauli, who we maybe don't see as a speedy player, but he certainly has been able to score key goals. And he got a key one against Republic of Korea, a couple in his tournament so far. And Plankard back down low, and it's 2-on-2 down low. That, however, Italy would have liked to have had under control. That's come out well for Oyseth. There's a good shot for Arado, and he will be ready for it. And in fairness to Arado, he's earned his keep in this opening, just over now, 13 minutes played in this matchup. This is the 21st game at these World Para Ice Hockey Championships, and Norway disruptive enough to force an Italian offside.
Yeah, good play there by the Italians as they were able to get out of the zone. Caligaris tried to move the puck up ice. So we'll take another look here at the opportunity from Oyseth. Fires it. It's a really quick shot. Blocker save, but as the Italians came up ice, they weren't able to keep it onside, and you saw the Norwegian coach Espen Hegde there throw his arm up in the air right away and say, "Up, that's offside," helping the officials out with that one. And now Norway will look to carry the puck back up ice. There's 1 minute and 40 seconds to go here in the first period. Still no score, so both teams trying to feel things out. A nice hit there by Bolasetti on Clackegg.
And Rosa just picks up the leftovers and fires it again with a good angle, but maybe a little too heavy this time. And it will go the length of the ice, and so another defensive zone faceoff. We'll have a look at those stats as we go into the period break, just to see how many faceoffs that Italy have had to compete for in this opening period. They've done well to maintain it as a scoreless game. There's great scenes of the dancing, not only going on here in the commentary position, but of course in the stands as well.
Be interesting to see if the Norwegians can get something done here in the final 80 seconds of the first period. As Pedersen racing after the puck there. Arado's been really good for the Italians so far. He's been tested, and he's done well to keep his team right in this hockey game, 0-0 score. But I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen Italy try to push the pace a little more offensively. They've got some guys that are certainly capable offensively. We talk about Planker and Rosa able to move the puck well, and Larch and Caligaris and others who are gifted offensively, but we really haven't seen much of anything in an offensive way from the Italians so far in the first period.
No, it's a fair comment, as here comes Norway, and the thing is if you don't assert yourself, you may find a late play like this could be a difference in the game. There's a shot from Arado, and you can't rely exclusively on your defense and your goaltender to be making all of these saves until such time that you do decide to activate offensively.
Martin Hamro is going to the net there, and Bakke ran out of real estate a little bit, wasn't able to filter the pass over to him as the Italian defender took that passing lane away. So he gets a shot on goal, but Arado makes another save. He has been the difference so far in this hockey game. The Norwegians have had a couple of really quality chances, unable to bury anything with 1 second left, and that'll do it for the first period. A good first period from the Norwegian side, but the Italians holding it down, not allowing anything into the back of their goal.
And they did, but Arado had to be the best defensive player, as you might expect, in goal for Italy in that opening 15. They're going to need to assert themselves going forward, or they're inviting danger with Norway getting the lion's share of offensive zone time in that opening 15. So as they go into the intermission break, we will have a break as well. It is scoreless here in Gangneung at these World Championships between Norway and Italy. We are in the first intermission between Norway and Italy in the Gangneung Hockey Center. And as you can see, there isn't a score yet in the hockey game. Brent Pope alongside Mike Kelly. And as we also say there as well, Gabriel Arado with great saves in that opening 15 minutes. But really, Norway are going to need to step forward, of course, to take their chances. But Italy could be more offensive and need to be sooner rather than later in this hockey game.
Yeah, it was the Norwegians that controlled a lot of the pace of the play in that first period. They had the better of the chances, no question about it. In fact, I don't know that Italy really had one quality chance on goal. But here's a look at right near the beginning of the game, a very good look for the Norwegian side as the puck is filtered back into the middle of the ice. And then another play here where Bogle, again, if he can just shoot with that left stick, he might have a better opportunity. He tries to go right, and by the time he does, Plonker and company come in and take away the time and space. But all the action in that period was around the Italian net, and it was a good job by Arado to keep the puck out of it as he faced a lot of really quality shots.
And he did, and he was equal to each of them that were being asked. And I think as much as they were being created by Norway, they were being afforded by Italy in giving them those opportunities that, yes, of course, an applied team that was coming forward, Norway, like we say, well-disciplined, structured, and they do have a pretty good balance about them as we look at Odin Bakke here with a shot in on goal And another one there. That's a real test. That goes right off of the head of Arado as he squares up to the shots. As we look at the match stats so far, Norway 7 shots, 2 for Italy, and it's just negligible as far as what Italy were able to put in on goal. 10 face-off wins. How many were there in the Italian end zone? And Norway come up with that much puck possession right off of those face-offs. They really, maybe as they walk away from that first period, they probably think they should have got something offensively from it.
Well, if they continue to play that way throughout the course of this game, they are going to get something before long. I think the Norwegian coaching staff has to be very happy with the way their team played in that opening 15 minutes. And it can be a little bit frustrating at times as a hockey player when you're executing so well, but you're not seeing the results. I think the message will be in the intermission, keep doing exactly what you've been doing, because before long it will pay off. If the Norwegians can play that period again in the second and the third, they're the likely team that's going to win this hockey game. But as we mentioned, they have to do it in regulation. If the Italians get 1 point in this game, they will be off to the bronze medal game. So for Norway, keep doing what you're doing. Eventually you'll start to see some results. And for the Italians, I think it's quite simple. They have to find a way to push the puck up ice and start generating some offense. They have been on their heels way too much in that opening period.
So it's not about how many goals you win by in this particular one. It's about when you win. And of course, you have to win in full regulation time for the Italians in order to assure themselves, and equally for Norway as well, to make certain of being in that bronze medal match. It is Norway, of course, chasing the Italians. And as you say, Italy would get a point. They would be able to move forward. It's Norway, my apologies, that need to win in full regulation time in order to give themselves a chance with that bronze medal game. So with the first intermission behind us still raining on, we'll take a break and we'll join you for more coverage here in our first intermission report. Welcome back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center, and you're seeing the ice being resurfaced in preparation for the second period. And we are in our first intermission coverage, and we had the opportunity there to clarify that it is in fact Norway that need the full complement of 3 points here to give themselves a chance for that bronze medal match. And it's just the way these tournaments design themselves, so that in the last day we have still these scenarios that are still on offer that could be, depending on how this result goes. And after one period, with it being scoreless, we still have questions in the offer here now.
What we do know is the final game of this tournament will be for gold, and it will be between Canada and the United States. From there, it gets a little bit murky. The Republic of Korea, guaranteed to play for the bronze medal. They can still finish third or fourth place, but either way, they are in that 3-4 game. Italy, as we talk about, if they get 1 point in this game, they will play for bronze. If the Norwegians get a full 3 points, a regulation win, they will play for bronze. So depending on how that shakes out, whoever comes out on the bottom end of it will play in the 5th, 6th game against Sweden, who is already sitting in 6th place, and that's where they will finish this tournament no matter what. So that 5-6 game, the winner of that game will get automatic qualification to the Paralympic Games. The loser can still make it, but they have to go through other qualifying avenues. So this is a really important game, as for either team, you can either end up potentially winning a bronze medal or missing out on the Paralympic Games in terms of automatic qualification. A lot on the line here in the final 30 minutes.
It's a real slippery slope between being able to be in 3rd or right out of it in 6th position, and it's that slippery ladder for either one of these nations, and that's why we play the game as we are here in this first intermission. Both teams getting rehydrated and prepared as we return in a moment's time for our coverage of the second period, coming back with you. These, of course, the Gangneung 2017 World Para Ice Hockey Championships. Italy and Norway level score with no score. And look at the mascots for both the Paralympics and the Olympics coming up. On the left-hand side, that's a black bear, I'll have you know. And that's Bandavi, the Paralympic mascot. And on the right is a white tiger, Suhoran, the Olympic mascot for next year, Pyeongchang 2018. Right in the middle of the great cheerleading team. We're still learning out what their name is, but I think their name is If You Dance, We Dance. I'm trying to remember officially what their title is. It's on the back of their shirts.
It says You Go, We Go
Entirely.
on the back of their shirts. And there is some electric dance moves going on in the crowd by those men and women. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They are mixing it up in a big way, getting the fans pumped up here. I got to go get some dance lessons from that team.
I think
I'd pull a hamstring for sure.
I think the only move we haven't seen, to be honest, in the stands today is the electric worm. And
see, that's you with the acid wash jeans in the 80s again with the hockey flow you were talking about.
Yeah, it is. And we could be doing the reverse dipper on the electric worm and maybe right into the electric slide.
Wow, see, I can tell that you had a whole system going back in the day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You got those moves back to back to back. You're in good shape out there.
The thing is, what you've got a party.
Yeah.
If you're able to pull off, if you do the triple trifecta there, you've got yourself a party.
Well, the dance team here is still mixing it up pretty good in the crowd there. We take a look at the players on the ice getting ready for period number 2, and we can expect pretty big crowds tomorrow as we get the final day of competition. The 5-6 game for automatic qualification, the bronze medal game that the host Republic of Korea will be playing in, and then the gold medal game between the heavy hitters, Canada and the United States. This is going to be a tremendous day of para ice hockey tomorrow. But we still have a lot to decide here. Nothing with 30 minutes to go. The Norwegians will have to win this one in regulation. We take a look at the coaching staff getting set for this period, as both teams huddled up right now, chatting things over, about 10 seconds from puck drop.
And would it be fair to say that it's 0-0 for Norway? Potentially. They had the rub of the green and a little bit more of the initiation in that first period. Italy now being requested to respond. I think they can really ill afford to sit back and wait for Norway to initiate much longer, or they could find themselves down 1-0 as play resumes in this second period. And it is going to be Pedersen. Didn't see a lot of Pedersen as we look over the ice time in that first period. He got 7:21. You just expect a lot from Pedersen, who used to be a player probably that would have logged in around double digits in a period's worth of action. But as time moves on for all of us, he's balancing out his ice time, and so is Espen Hedge on the head coach for Norway. They just have the 4 defense today, though, for Norway, as here comes Italy with a little bit more vigor. Caligaris gets knocked off the play by Bogle, and there's going to be a penalty here. Bogle just gets a little bit too vehement there, and the official, Jonathan Morrison, agrees, and he's going to take Bogle, and no, it's Pedersen on his way to the box. That's a big blow, and I thought it was Bogle that he was making the call on, but Pedersen on his way into the penalty box for Norway, and Italy in the power play without the utilization of Pedersen out there. This is a good chance for them to break the score.
A teeing penalty. As you hear the announcement there for Pedersen, he came across the middle. Nice shot block here by the Norwegian side, as you're not allowed to use the front end of the sled to make direct contact with an opponent. You can't tee them. That's why it's called a teeing penalty. It's pretty self-explanatory. And that's what Pedersen did there, so he'll sit for a minute 40 or less, as the Italians another good opportunity now with the man advantage, try to get some offense going, but they ice the puck here on the power play, so not a terrific start to them. And they just, in that game against the Republic of Korea yesterday, the first period, even the first half of the game, they looked flat. And in the second half of the game, it was some of the best hockey we've seen them play here at this tournament. And now we're starting to see again a little bit more of a flat effort from the Italians. So they can be up and down. We'll see maybe if this power play can rejuvenate them.
It was incredible, really. Nobody really expected them to come back down 2-0 to the host team, as here comes Caligaris going into the third period. And then they find a way to level it and then win it, not only going through overtime, but then into game-winning shots too. So I just wonder sometimes whether or not, you know, it's difficult to emotionally get yourself to that high again, whether they are a little bit flat coming down from that. It's not a time for that for Italy. They need to bring their A game, and this is lofted forward, and this now sent through, and it's Corvino who was trying to line up with it, and this is a good play from Claquet. Not to go around the boards. That, however, isn't. Oh, it's worked out well. Through the middle of the ice, I thought it was red, and it was going to be taken away by the Italians. Remember, Norway on the penalty kill, and it looked like Laperti had sized that one up, and he was just going to step forward and drive that one in on goal. But Norway in good shape here. 2 forward players against 3 Italian defenders, and they're just killing valuable seconds on this penalty kill right here between Baquet and Hamra, doing a great job.
No question about it. An aggressive penalty kill so far, and the Italians unable to get much going. Puck sent down the ice here, but it is on goal, so no icing. That could have been the second icing on a power play for Italy, which is not the way they draw it up. 15 seconds to go on the power play now, and back down the ice it goes. And good job by the Norwegians here as Solberg's in after it.
Yeah, and he comes out, and I'm not sure Arado really knew what he wanted to do with that one there. Fortunate, that coming through, that Laperti could have really caught the Norwegian player who was putting the back-checking pressure on. Here comes Pedersen, so that's a big kill from Norway. Make no mistake of it, as Pedersen is a big player to be able to make good decisions, but Claquet made a good decision, making sure not to give the puck up cheaply. And, you know, we see a couple errant icings from Italy to start this second period. And this is where you're seeing a much more thoughtful Norwegian side. Rosa comes up as he's so great at closing that gap at his own defensive blue line. Doesn't give anybody any room and does so well to come forward to hold that line and not allow any easy access for a team offensively coming into the Italian zone, certainly while he's on watch, as it's just going to be laid down in the corner. But again, Rosa, all arms, all legs and body, gets in the way. He's like an octopus out there as he takes away the clearing effort or the dump-in effort from Norway. Now they'll get it as it gets slotted in, and Arado, that bounce pass where it goes off the end boards and towards the goalie in the short side. Always a tricky navigation indeed.
A face-off here is Italy will have to win a draw on their defensive end. 11:22 to go in the second period. We take a look at the Italian coaching staff led by Massimo Durin, who is on the far side of the screen there. Arado having a very good game so far. He won a gold medal at the 2011 European Championships in Sweden, so he's got some winning pedigree in the sport. And he has been a difference maker so far for Italy, who again, we know they're capable offensively. They have some game breakers, especially number 9 Caligaris, who has 5 of their 11 goals in the tournament. Just haven't seen them be able to generate too much so far.
Norway in a good position where they want to be, and behind the goal line, and making Italy have to work. They move it low to high, and now Jakobsen with a good shot. Pretty good sizzle on that one as he sends it to the near side, but it's wide. It's good decision making there again. They have not been cheap with the puck today, have they, Norway? They've been able to spin when they felt the body pressure and not just give it up for an icing or send it, but here, as it gets through, Winkler is going to be crossed out, though, by Pedersen, who senses it, sees it, gets it, elevates it, but doesn't clear it. As this for Corvino is followed up, by a good Norwegian disciplined effort and supporting the play. And now they approach again here. Sorheim gets slowed up a little bit as he goes through a sand pit trying to come across that offensive blue line. And now Italy will bank it in and see if that little bit of a cue shot off the end boards might in fact be difficult for Christian Hamar. And a little bit more assertion from Italy, but you just wonder even if they're potentially a little tired and just managing this hockey game rather than, of course, initiating this hockey game.
Well, they did go to a shootout against the Republic of Korea yesterday, playing through that overtime period, an emotionally draining game, I'm sure, as well as physically. Perhaps that's the reason for the slow start here. Offside called there. It looked like Stefan Kaufman may have been able to get back on side there, but the linesman blows it down. And we will take a quick break here. 9:32 to go in the second period. Still scoreless.
And the action resumes just outside of Norway's blue line. As you can see, we are scoreless still. And really not a whole lot as yet to really determine how this game is going to shape out, other than we know that Italy get a point. They're through to the bronze medal game. Norway, with just one goal and a good defensive performance, they get themselves through. And this tournament, as we say, from third through to sixth, That is a very slick passage for any of these teams until things are finally nailed on. And we won't know that until the end of this result here. So the work continues. It's Claquet has just got his pocket picked, and Rosa comes in to pick it up, and he's just as thrifty with this one, but sends it around the boards, and not particularly to anyone in a white shirt. This is now a chance, and you just wonder as you look at this Italian side, think about Andrea McCree, who's not in this lineup here today, suspended. He is a player that does provide energy and a little bit of just get up and go, really. And he plays a physical brand. And unfortunately for him, it ended up being maybe a little too physical. This is a hit here that is a fallen Norwegian player, and we'll just have a look to see who it is, but receiving some
It's Bogle
support
down on the ice, number 12 for Norway, as he got crunched there against the boards. The training staff now out having a look at him as they get him sat upright, and it looked like he was just pinned against the boards there on that check and in a little bit of discomfort. He will be helped now to the bench, but good to see somewhat quickly they're able to get him up, and he's able to make his way off the ice. He's favoring that left arm. We'll get an update to you when we can, but encouraging that he is able to get off the ice in that manner, and he doesn't appear to be going straight to the dressing room, so they'll just take a look at him on the bench, and we'll see if he makes a return in short time to this hockey game.
Well, it's one thing to make note of in para ice hockey, because players play with a stick in each hand, they never have both hands on a stick that braces them and keeps their shoulders together. So a lot of times their shoulders are open for that contact, and they can really kind of get winged out as they are open and available to that glancing blow. And we see a little bit of those shoulder injuries as a possibility, more so with having two sticks rather than two hands on one. But nonetheless, it is broken up again here by Rosa at the blue line. And this is going to be sent in, and a whole lot of puck pressure as yet. Rosa, as you say, we look at the minutes in this game so far, and he had 11:55 in that first period. And like you said, he's not necessarily a fast game breaker as such, but he is just he'll outthink you and outmaneuver you. It's maybe more like a game of chess rather than a game of table tennis where it's speedy back and forth. It is always considered. And maybe he is a move or two ahead of his opposition, but it certainly is done at a methodical pace.
He plays so much. You talk about the ice time that he plays for this team. He plays so much for them, and he's able to do so much in the back end, up and down the ice. A real key player for the Italians, and one the Norwegians knew they had to focus on in this game. We're entering a little bit of a stalemate here midway through the second period, as neither team's able to break out anything too significant in terms of scoring chances. And while Norway has outplayed Italy in this game, which bodes well for them going forward, at the same time, the Italians, they haven't allowed a goal yet, and they can take a 0-0 tie into the end of regulation. That works just fine for them. It's the Norwegians that need the full points, so it looks like Italy perhaps will be content to just take the opportunities when they come and not try to force anything.
It's a fair comment, and one goal is massive. Whichever way it's going to fall, so you can, of course, anticipate that this opening goal of the game will tell a big part of however this final storyline is going to read, as Pedersen breaks that one up, and so confident to be able to throw the butt end of the stick blade down. Of course, the paddle, or the butt end of the stick shaft rather than the blade. The paddle is not that big, so of course when you come forward towards it, you want to make sure eye-hand coordination to get the paddle on it. But you just think about the butt end, how thin it is, and of course the puck could easily just jump, bobble over that. If you're the last man who's making an aggressive play to try to control that, you want to make sure that you've got control. And this will be, as you can anticipate as well and watching, it's going to be just probably one mistake that makes the difference here in this hockey game.
That's a great point. The way that it's been going so far, we saw some good opportunities, namely for Norway in the first period, but in the second period, we haven't seen too much either way. So it could absolutely be a turnover that creates an opportunity that ends up leading to a game-winning goal. It could be a fast break opportunity, maybe a dump out into the neutral zone to a player with speed. you are starting to get the sense now, as we're more than halfway through, that it could be that one key play that ends up being the difference in this hockey game with so much on the line.
And a good look at the Italian bench, and both teams equally as pensive and as concerned about what the final outcome will be. And you know, it's not just about, of course, getting a top 5 position. That's sort of the secondary goal. It's about finishing as high up as you can. And I think for Italy, the way they performed in this particular tournament, they really believe they deserve to be in a medal game, particularly the way they did. Oh, there's a backside play, and wow, Clackag has picked up the leftovers from Arado, and he didn't even have to put them in the microwave. They were hot as he put them right in the back of the net, and Clackag has popped what could be a difference-making goal.
Jan-Roger Clackag in the right place at the right time. You see the shot here by Nordstraga. He's been so good for them. Arado can't close the glove on it, and there is a juicy rebound there. Up to clean up the garbage is Clackag. He has been a phenomenal player in this tournament for the Norwegians as he gives them a 1-0 lead. It's his first goal, in fact his first point of the World Championships, and it could not have come at a better time for Norway. 5:23 to go here in the second period. Clackag was the captain of the 2014 Paralympic team. He is a leader in this program, and he has got a huge goal for Norway as they take a 1-0 lead.
Oh, that's as big a goal as you're going to want to score in a tournament like this for Clackag as he comes in off the blue line. And Johnny on the spot, he gobbles up in a glorious position. What a moment that could be for Norway, as now you talk about Italians starting to initiate with a little bit more purpose as they could start to tighten up here. Oh, it's a touch. Here comes Bogle as he got some daylight coming through. There's 2 of them, and they've taken a penalty on him. I don't think there's going to be a penalty shot here, but there's certainly a penalty coming against. And Pedersen may have been able to benefit from a little bit of a bunt pass across to him. He could have come around the end of Arado. Oh, Norway, here they come.
It will be the Norwegians going to the power play when we come back. An interference call, 1-0 Norway, 4:40 to go in period 2.
Team Italy penalty, number 14, Bruno Balosetti. 2 minutes for interference. LD 10-20.
이탈리아 팀 14번 브루노 바로세티 인터피어런스 페널티로 2분간 페널티 시간 10분 20초.
Norway have just opened this game, and they did it even strength, and now they benefit from the man advantage. They have earned themselves a power play and what looked like potentially a chance for them to double their score in back-to-back minutes. Here is Jakobsen. Jakobsen with a heater to the bottom side, and Arado with the total beach save as he just lays out there to make sure to get the glove on it, but he was full sprawl across that crease area.
Really nice save here from Arado. He's doing everything he can to keep the Italians in this hockey game. There's a lot of area on the glove side to work with there. A quick shot, but Arado making a nice glove save.
And a face-off trying to be won here. Laperti does a good job just to create himself a nuisance there. Jakobsen's going to step in here and rip one. That one just goes, again, hard and low. Arado makes the save, and Arado, you get a sense with 4:17 to go in the second period, he is going to have to batten down the hatches because this Italian team right now has lost a little bit of its way on where it was going.
No question about it. We'll never count the Italians out as they prove they can come back in a hockey game and find ways to win. They didn't look like they had much of anything going on in the first period against the Republic of Korea. They came back and won that game. All they have to do is force extra time. They're only down a goal, but a power play here for Norway, and a shot up high off Arauto. He makes a nice save as the Norwegians continue to press.
And Rosa a long ways from his own goal. Look at him be aggressive. And this is smart from Norway. They keep it down low. They've got numbers down low. And Rosa, who goes up. Now the parity on the kill is going high, looking for a stretch clearance. And now you're starting to see a little bit more of a dangerous element to how Italy are trying to execute a game plan. But it's a curious thing that it took until now, really, for them to activate with that level of thinking. But more confident, more assertive. But is it a little bit like closing the barn door after the horses are out? Because here comes Norway once again. They are just inside of a minute remaining on a power play. One more goal here, and this could be a real problem. But we saw that, thinking the same against Republic of Korea when they fell down 2-0. And didn't they teach us a lesson? As they came back, Italy, and they had more to give. But you really don't necessarily, in a tournament like this, have a couple of kicks at that particular can. Maybe one, but generally not twice at top level. As this across the blue line, Claque will just weave, and he'll just lose his balance a moment. This is a handcuff situation. They got fortunate there as Rosa was off sniffing around and looking for anything that was left available. Jakobsen, I think, is going to get one off here, but it's into the corner, and more so of a dump. As then Claque, who scores that goal, all of a sudden he's a free man coming forward off that defense. He'll be in front of the net, and Jakobsen the offload. This is looking troublesome for Italy. A shot that goes caroming off of the shin pads of Rosa. Claque is a real problem for Italy, as he seems to be on that puck more than Rosa, and that's saying a lot. As to the backside now, into the holster for Bakke. He's got a 6-gun shooter if you want to give him a chance to fire. Oh, a well carved route through, and Bakke still has it. And they've been nifty in and out of these blind alleys right now, Norway, and they are manufacturing a very strong passage of play here to push through the remaining portion of this second period.
The Italians can hold on here and just try to get out of this period as we are back at even strength. Get into the intermission down 1-0 and regroup. It will be best for them, as Norway is applying all sorts of zone time here. They've had some good opportunities, but they've made a couple of dodgy passes at that offensive blue line. They made one on the power play. They were lucky Caligaris didn't get sprung, and there was another chance for the Italians as well. The Norwegians will have to watch how they play at the attacking blue line. If they're not careful, something can go back quickly the other way, and I'm sure Espen Hegde there, the Norwegian coach, may have a word with his team about that in the intermission. They have the 1-0 lead. The key for them now will be to make sure they play a sound defensive game, not allow the Italians any more opportunities than they can generate themselves. If the Italians beat them, so be it, but Norwegians can't beat themselves.
No, that's the challenge that sometimes a coach will face, making sure you don't beat yourselves. But this for Norway, trying to get it across centrally, and they're in a good position now. Now they have to play smart. Just wonder whether the Italians almost playing a defensive style to start a hockey game is the way you want to activate yourself, and then you respond when you're down by a goal. But of course, hindsight is always 20/20, and easy to say it from here. As from the neutral zone, it's picked up by Norway, and Osath could have really maybe advanced forward, but he was just as happy to get it into a good position. The play by Planker, just putting it into the corner, and Red now by the Italians just to sort of spring it out into a better position off the boards for Nerstoga, and that one, it could go always but loose. A shot like that and find a way into a dangerous spot. Here is Pettersson. Pettersson with momentum is dangerous. 4-on-2. He's going to weave. He's winding. He's going to shoot it. You give him some room, he's got his pocket picked. Here come Italy the other way. If they can spring a man, it's a slow developing play, and the response from Norway is workmanlike as they get back into a position to take away what was really a lane and a window of opportunity there for Italy that got closed down quickly, and as quickly by their own lack of taking advantage.
Well, Pettersson had a chance to shoot the puck there. I'm surprised he didn't. He tried to make a pass, but he had a wide open shooting lane. He was unable to do anything with it. And then back the other way, as you mentioned, the Norwegians do a good job of back checking. They just look faster than the Italians in this game, and a little surprised that Italy isn't able to generate more. Maybe on the final day of this tournament, after that draining victory against the Republic of Korea. Maybe there's just not enough left in the tank for them, but this is much more of a one-sided game, as we're 2.7 seconds away from being through 30 minutes than I expected. The Norwegians, again, as much as they're outplaying the Italians, it's only a 1-0 lead. That will be the score after 2 periods of play. One shot can change a game, and we'll see if that happens in the third, but Norway has to be encouraged by the fact that after all that pressure, they were finally able to put one into the back of the net.
Jean-Roger Claquet, with his lone goal of the tournament, has brought Norway to the party as we go into the second intermission break. Norway have that lead by just the 1 over Italy.
철도 이제 기가의 신으로 달려갑니다. 지금까지 경험하지 못한 포스와 초고감으로 기가 스트레스 기가 철의 세시계를 열어가고 포스와
Welcome back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center, and we are in the second intermission. And if you like para ice hockey with all sorts of action, maybe it's not this game that you want to tune into, but we've seen a very resourceful Norwegian team find a way in amongst this one here with Italy to get a 1-0 lead. And there has been all sorts of action in a way. Just both of these teams, a lot of it probably going on between the years, trying to manage making no mistakes in a hockey game. And ultimately there was one, a breakdown, and Norway took advantage.
It was a really nice goal by the Norwegians, as we'll take a look at our highlights from the second period of play between Italy and Norway. And again, you have to be encouraged if you're the Italians that you're only down 1 goal in this game. So much of the play has been in their own end. But Nordström here with a shot on goal. It's a little too much for Arauto to handle. He can't squeeze the glove on it. If he can catch that puck, it's an easy face-off, and it's not a big deal. But look at Claquet. He recognizes there's a loose puck. He weaves his way into a scoring position, gets ahead of the defender, and puts it into the back of the net. That's a heads-up play by Claquet. It's his first point of this World Championship, and as I mentioned, he's a leader on this team. A couple of other good looks here. Jakobsen with a shot on goal, but Claquet coming up in a clutch situation for Norway.
And he certainly did. Arauto has had to be the best player on the ice for Italy, and we maybe haven't seen the Italian team that we believe is still within them with 15 more minutes to play in this hockey game. They are capable of more. They are capable of scoring. We haven't seen a lot from Sandro Caligaris, considering we saw a lot of him earlier on in this tournament, and we said that last game, and he comes up and then is involved in scoring a goal. So the Italian team will be having a good think about their return to action here in this final period, because they have, at the moment, as we look at the game stats, their entire placement in this tournament riding on this next 15 minutes.
They have to find a way to get this at the very minimum to extra time if they want a chance to compete for the bronze medal. 12-5 the shots on goal for the Norwegians, and fortunate for Italy, it's only 1-0. I mentioned it towards the end of the period, but very surprising that the Italians, in a game with so much on the line, have come out and really played an uninspired game so far. You wonder if the fatigue has caught up with them. It's hard to explain when we've seen them play much, much better hockey as recently as the last half of the game they played in yesterday. And that's why it's a little bit surprising to see that they've really had no answer here. Yes, the Norwegians are playing well and you give them full marks, but at the same time, we know the Italians are capable of so much more, and we just haven't seen it. They showed by scoring 2 goals in the third period to tie the game against the Republic of Korea that they can maybe ramp things up a little bit late in the game. They'll have to do it here. They'll need at least one. As we mentioned, they have to get this thing to extra time if they want to play for bronze.
And as a collective team, they need more of a work rate. Potentially, if they want to get on the power play and draw a penalty against and force Norway to take one, they have to have more work rate. But they've just not had enough collectively. And that's the surprising part. And that's where we question whether or not there's enough still left in the tank for Italy. And if they are to compete for a bronze medal match, whether they've run out of steam here and have already peaked already potentially with that match yesterday. But of course, that is still yet to be seen with 15 more minutes of action in this one still remaining. We'll pause for a moment. We'll join you for more coverage here in our second intermission from the Gangneung Hockey Center. And is it the calm before the storm as the final preparations for the ice surface ahead of this third period, the final preliminary match to be played in game day 7. It's been a fantastic tournament so far, and still everything in the balance and only one shot away with the lone goal in a hockey game here so far as we look at a couple of the keys ahead of this final 15 or maybe more.
Well, it's been tight in the sense that the score is 1-0. If you're just tuning in, Norway has certainly been the team to carry most of the play through the opening 30 minutes. They do have the only goal in this game. It came from Klakeg. What a time for him, a leader on this team, to get his first point of this tournament. Pretty simple. Italy has to score in the third period. They need at least one. The Italians don't have to win this game, but they have to get it to extra time. They need at least 1 point in this game for them to be able to finish ahead of Norway, finish in 4th place, and play in the bronze medal game. We talked about it earlier. They did it yesterday against the Republic of Korea. They will no doubt try to draw on that as they're in the dressing room right now and say, 24 hours ago, we did the same thing. They actually scored twice in the third period in that game in order to get it to extra time. If they can find a way to get a goal, tie things up, that will be imperative to them, as they need that to get into a bronze medal matchup. But from what we've seen in the opening 30 minutes, it's hard to have any reason to believe that they can do it. I don't know that they've even had really one quality look on net, so it's going to have to be a much, much better effort from the Italians.
As we look back over the 30 minutes of play, for me, Norway has had a little more courage. They have been willing to take a chance at trying to be a little bit better. Klakeg steps forward as a blue liner. There's only 4 of them on the ice for Norway in this hockey game. He comes forward, is initiating play, and is the guy getting the rebound in front of Italy's goal and puts in the only goal of the hockey game and bangs away a loose rebound. So you have to be willing to take a chance in a game like this. You just can't play not to lose. You have to play to win. And at the moment, that is the difference in this hockey game. Norway have tried to win a hockey game. Yeah, they waited till their break. Italy have really been playing not to lose, and they might lose a lot if they continue that for the remaining 15 minutes of this hockey game. So we'll go to a break. We'll join you for our third period. We are just as equally as interested as you are to see how this is going to play out. For Mike Kelly and Brent Pope, we'll join you in just a moment. Norway out and ready. They are warming up their tires for this one in pit lane, as they have in fact got themselves in pole position with the 1-goal lead, as you see, ahead of the final 15 minutes, maybe more. If we go to extra time, just to remind you again, Italy will have done the job necessary, and they will be playing in that bronze medal match. If it stays as it is and Norway win in regulation, well, how about the old flip reverse? Norway comes from behind from 5th, slides up into that bronze medal game, and then of course then Italy will have to battle for certain that they qualify directly and automatically from this tournament through to the Pyeongchang Paralympic tournament in just under a year's time. So you talk about a lot going on in this para ice hockey game still yet to come.
Well, it just shows you how the emotions can go up and down so quickly in a tournament like this. About 24 hours ago, before the Italians played the Republic of Korea, the Norwegians were probably thinking to themselves, well, maybe there's a good chance Italy wins this game, and no matter what happens in the game being played right now, there's no chance to play for bronze. But fortunately for the Norwegians, the Italians couldn't pick up the full complement of points. Then they have an opportunity to pick up a full 3, move into a tie, but win that tiebreaker. And now they're in a great position to do it with 15 minutes of hockey to go. So quickly things can change, and for the Italians, they think they're down and out in the game against the Republic of Korea. They come back, score 2 goals in the third period. They win it in a shootout in a thrilling game, one of the most thrilling of the tournament. And they're all up, and now they're 15 minutes away from potentially playing in a game in which they lose tomorrow. If they did, they wouldn't even automatically qualify for the Paralympic Games. So real ups, real downs, 15 minutes to decide who goes on to play for bronze against the Republic of Korea.
So it's just the clock that has, in fact, struck to 15 minutes awaiting, and a little bit of a technical delay as we're just awaiting for the arena doors to open up. I think the linesman just needs a little bit of the old squeegee just to remove some of the surface water. And as we have moved more and more into spring climate and temperatures in this region of the world, it's very important to make sure that we haven't got a goal or a situation that's led to by some water on the ice that, of course, as you've been watching and are familiar with ice sports, that will in fact have the puck stick on it, and that would be unfortunate. That seemed to be a real simple adjustment made there by the linesman as he brings back the squeegee tool, and we look like we're ready to go. And as I meant it seriously as our comments on camera, I am very curious to see what happens in this hockey game, because I really want to see teams leave the best performance that they're capable of delivering out on the ice, not have any regrets. And that's what's kind of just niggling a little bit at, as we watch this one here right now, that Italy have better to offer, but equally they've played against a very resourceful, efficient, and smart team today. Norway have executed a game plan pretty much to perfection.
Norway sending one attacker in. We'll see how they forecheck, or if they forecheck in the third period with that 1-goal lead, as Solberg went about as far as the hash marks, but 4 back, and you see them try to clog things up here, not allow the Italians to get any good looks on net. But Italy, a good job at the start of the period here to get some zone time, sending it behind the goal, and here's Caligaris.
That is better. I mean, Caligaris, come down the wing, take a shot. I mean, that's, for my remembering, or my memory, that was kind of the first time, I believe, that Caligaris has had a go at the net today. As this now still coming Norway, they'll come back with interest, and now being collected by Italy. The old remembery is Caligaris.
It's a long tournament, Brent, for all of us. Don't worry about it.
It is. And you need to see more of that from Caligaris. And Rosa. Need to see even a little bit more from him, too. And I don't think we're asking for more. It's not that we want to see either of the team necessarily be more successful than the other. You just want to see them play to their potential. And Rosa will just bunt this one back up the boards, and Lepardi's just trying to track it down. And we've seen Lepardi be so physical and able to charge and keep up with the play and finish his man. This is Varnas through the middle. Good play, the offload, great advancement, good puck support, breaking out from Norway. Here's a chance to the backside, Clackegg again. And what a return to close things down from Caligaris. And to the far side is Hamra. Oh, Hamra's going to get literally hit hard into the boards, and now it looks like it's just been miscued for a second. Here's a play, and that could have easily just been slotted in by Norway again, as that was an uncharacteristic mistake and a miscue there from Rosa.
Martin Hamra with a great opportunity, really nice going from one stick to the other, but he slides it just wide, and a little earlier Ola Oisith had the puck just go about an inch or two too far for him, or else he would have had a wide open look. So as we are a couple minutes into this third period, once again it's Norway with the better of the opportunities. There's Hamra taking a hit and then finding a way to get this puck as it is maybe sticking on some of that wet ice. Rosa, nice play to go left to right there by Hamra. He can't find a way to put it in, but good opportunities to start the third here for Norway.
And they almost really just put, and you get a sense that a second goal here could be punishing and could be enough just to take the air right out of the balloon, because if that were the case, Italy needs to get something from what is kind of a half opportunity, a half chance that they convert into something, maybe a mistake and a breakdown. There just hasn't been much of that from Norway, and I don't think they are feeling particularly encouraged that Norway are going to make many mistakes. They haven't looked so far. Here's Clackegg again, coming in off that blue line position, initiating as the most offensive defenseman in this game. And it seems as though he's waited till the right time in the 6th game to be able to bring that to the party for Norway. And they'll be just fine. They were patient for it. Here he is again. He's going to just delay. Maybe the offload, the feed, it's broken up there, but weren't able just to stay on top of it. As they'll retreat, Cavalier just holds his ice, and now Oyseth again. And they don't go offside. It's little plays like that that are smart from Norway, making sure just to keep this play live, let the clock tick down, and let things work for them in their advantage as they're back in good strength again. They don't turn it over. They don't ice it unnecessarily. Now Pettersson takes a go at it. Pettersson's gone a long ways there, but he makes sure before he goes back and potentially gets himself into trouble, puts it over to an area here now where Norway are again in an advantage position, creating trouble for this Italian defense. And Odin Bakke, he's got an option maybe to the long side. It's broken up, but on top of it here, they won't shoot it and allow an easy block for Italy. They're just going to hold it and make Italy have to work to get it back from them. Pettersson keeps it in. All of these little plays right now from Norway are the building blocks of why they've enjoyed success and why they're in the position that they are in this hockey game.
They are controlling things 4 minutes here into the 3rd period. Here's Jakobsen with a shot from the point. He can really whip it. He can make a play where you don't think there might be much there. We'll see if he gets another shot on goal here. That terrific shot. That one's blocked in front. Nice play there defensively by the Italians to block that shot and keep the Norwegians to the outside.
And yes, I'll show my age again as Jakobsen can whip it. He can whip it good and almost gets one right in on goal. And where will they keep this one in? It's just beyond the blue line as now Pettersson goes for a stroll, and it's the Pettersson move across the ice. It's casually delivered, and again they look as firmly in control as you would want to be here, Norway, as they just go left to right, right to left, and then back in behind the Italian goal one more time.
That was another pass though by the boards by Norway where it was a few inches from being a potential breakaway for Italy. They've had a couple of those miscues or potential miscues where they make what could be a dangerous pass. You have a 1-goal lead in a must-win game, in a must-win regulation game. You got to be careful that if you're the last man back, you don't make any kind of play where the puck can go behind you, because then there's no support.
And they had a chance there for an odd man break. They might do now. Oh, it's kept in well, and that's a key play by the Italians, because that could have been a 3-on-1 break. And we will pause for a moment as the 1-0 Norwegian lead continues to stand with 9:33 remaining in the 3rd period of play.
Over G4, you'll see some of them at G7, you'll see them some of them at G12. They are working hard, and without them, I think this tournament will work as well as it does right now. So let's hear a round of applause for our volunteers.
네, 관중 여러분, 2017 발렌 세계 장애인 아이스하키 선수권대회 조직위원회는 모든 자원투자자들의 헌신과 노고에 깊은 감사를 드립니다. G4, G7, G12에 계시는 우리 자원봉사자들을 포함한 모든 자원봉사자분들께 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Back to action is a little bit of Michael Jackson playing, and that is sending memories right through as a shot in and a good dump play.
The 80s were a big time for you. That's what I'm gathering, between the acid wash jeans, the electric slide, the Michael Jackson. It's
And
all
equally-
starting to add up now.
And the old whip it. Trying to remember just exactly what song that lyric was in, but it certainly stuck with me. As it's on the far side with Laperti sprawled out. And Rosa just keeps it in. He gets hit hard. He does well, though, to loft it in towards the goal. And is there a little bit of a touch here now as the in and out from Clackegg, and Clackegg still pursues it. Rosa's turned it over. Has he been able to find something? He's snuffed out for a second by Bogle. And they needed that because Rosa's coming, and he's a little bit like a destroyer. He'll come in and make something happen when you thought you were safe. And that one's a high sticking call. That's why the whistle is blown, and the face-off will just come outside of Norway's defensive blue line.
Not a penalty, just a high stick played there by the Italians. So the face-off will come outside to the right of Hammer, the goaltender for Norway, and some nervous looks on the Italian bench here. 8 minutes, 31 seconds to go. They need a goal. Hand pass here against Norway, and the face-off will now come inside the zone to the right of the goaltender Hammer, 32 years old. He's been playing the sport for 7 years. In his 4th World Championship, his best finish was 4th at the last event in 2015, Norway finishing 4th. They will be looking for an opportunity to finish 3rd if they can hang on and win in regulation. And Hammer is a Matt Zuccarello fan, as I imagine a lot of these Norwegian ice hockey players are. Matt Zuccarello currently in the NHL playoffs with the New York Rangers. We're in a series tied 2-2 against the Montreal Canadiens.
And as affable and a down-to-earth athlete as you'd want to meet, meeting Matt Zuccarello in Norway and just seeing how he relates to his fellow countrymen, he really is a wonderful representation of Norwegian hockey. But this for Italy inside as a play to Planker, and is this all of a sudden going to go pear-shaped for Norway, who've done so well to hold the scoreline as they are. Stepping in Rosa, looking for shooting lane, and it's in Hamar. They're going to give it back to him and say, listen, let's just tie that up for another face-off. We've seen enough congestion for the last 30 seconds or so.
A huge save there from Hammer. There's traffic here in front of the net. Rosa gets a great look. He sends it low on the ice, maybe looking for a rebound or looking to squeak it through. It goes through a couple of bodies. And a really nice save there by Hammer, as that was a must-have for Norway. The Italians applying some pressure now. A couple of good shifts in the offensive zone. They need a goal. They need it in less than 8 minutes, but finally they're starting to press offensively. As here's Planker with a shot as that sails just wide of the net. And the Norwegians will be happy just to dump it down ice. Will it have enough for icing? Yes, it will.
And maybe just a little bit of Italy pushing forward and trying to create some more pressure here. They have to. One goal, sending this to extra time, of course, just creates a whole new dynamic in this tournament. And that's where we are right now. Norway having to hold on as this is their lifeline through to a bronze medal match. And it's simply a case of, that's been easily left over in front. And that, I thought Rosa was going to tuck it away and make this a level score as quick as that. Looked as though Hamar was rather casual about it. And there's a fine line between being relaxed and assured, and as casual as that looked a moment ago for Norway in goal. They've turned it over. Italy looking better. Italy coming in 3-on-1, and they hurt themselves right. Oh, it's a shot right into their own foot as they are, in fact, pulling the trigger finger as they were 3-on-1, and I'm not sure who's going to take it, whether it's Laperti, but he just overcooked it, and he will have to sit down for 2 minutes or maybe less with Norway now with the man advantage.
Gregory Laperti, an interference penalty, and that cannot come at a worse time. 7 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the 3rd period. His team has a 3-on-1. One of their most gifted offensive players has the puck, and the whistle is blown because of an interference penalty. That could be the turning point of this tournament for the Italian side. What a monumental shift in momentum now as the Norwegians go on the power play.
And they will win the draw. It goes back to Pettersson. We haven't seen Pettersson really take many shots in on goal today. He's been quite considered. That is up over Arado, and Arado makes enough of the save. Is whipped around, and can they keep it in? Odin Bakke has done exactly that, and he looks like he's a seasoned veteran back there on this power play, shaping things out. Pettersson, the give and go, and he'll get it back. Now he's in a good position. He'll shoot off the bar, And Pedersen has one of those, generally a hockey game, where he goes off from a tight angle, and he can either score it or he can go off the crossbar or off the post, and he is always within a whisker of creating further offense for Norway with just one shot.
That was a great look there as he goes left to right. Lets a quick shot go, and he had a lot of pace on it. It hits the bar. You have to think of Norway scores on this power play. Even though the Italians came back from 2 down to force extra time in their last game, with 6 minutes left, if Norway can get another one here, it will likely be too much for the Italians to overcome.
Pedersen was in a good position there to get a shot off and just kind of misfired. It was a blank when he got ready to get it gone. And where will it come from now? They're going to go back, and Caballero, the captain, he'll elevate it and throws a hand grenade, really. It looked as though he scooped that one up onto his blade, almost concerned that it was going to leave the surface of the ice and become a delay of game penalty. But it didn't. And through the neutral zone, they are now looking to just advance. Here is Pedersen again. He is going to be the player that's going to be relied upon as kind of the last safe pair of hands for Norway. This could be a contact zone, and Claquet keeps it in. Odenbacke is going to go into a jam there, and now Pedersen's come across 3 against 3. The 2 big bodies, and Rosa gets there first and lofts it out of the zone. But now Leperti is released back out in the wild again, and here he comes. He's hunting for contact. He gets it, takes his man off the puck. Pedersen's going to hold on to it. Look at that play by Pedersen as he just makes a nifty little maneuver, and he just slips his shadow, and now he's got a positive play coming for Norway. Oh, Odenbacke is trying to make a move, and it's all just a little bit tussled as they come across that blue line. There isn't a whole lot of shape to how either of these teams are developing play, and that one for Italy is going to go against them for an icing call. We have a good look down here at Bandavi and Suharan, the 2 mascots.
We'll take another look at the penalty here. Sorry, Brent, is right there at the top of the screen coming out of the zone. That was Leperti, and that was the interference penalty. Right at the top of the screen as his teammates were attacking. He runs into a Norwegian player, and he initiated the contact, which is why he got the interference penalty. Is the right call, and what a tough break that is for Italy as they had a 3-on-1 developing. Now, who knows what would have happened if they were able to execute a shot on goal in that situation.
And broken up again by Norway. And where are we at there as they continue to struggle in front of that Norwegian bench? It finally does come out. And just patiently again, Norway just managing, keeping the game simple. That's a big collision. Rosa takes into Varnas, and he accepts it. Play carries on, a good forecheck here. And it really is going to have to be something that's got to be developed by Italy. Don't see a breakdown coming from Norway. Big hit there from Jakobsen as he comes right into Nils Larch. And he gives him a good old lumping.
Really like the play from Jakobsen in this tournament. He can shoot the puck. He can hit. Wears the blue and red jersey and kind of has a similar type game to another guy who wears blue and red with those same attributes as Shea Weber of the Montreal Canadiens. He's a physical presence, Jakobsen, and he's got a great shot as well. He's been a terrific player for this team.
And they'll need more of that as we close in on 3 minutes remaining. This is going to be turned over. No, it's not. It's still available in this neutral zone. And across the line, Magnus Bogle. Varnas does well to scoop that up, but they've just moved it. These 10, 20-foot passes, they haven't tried to be overly ambitious and create more than was there. They haven't bit off more than they can chew. They've been sensible in everything that they have done in this para ice hockey game. As I referenced prior, the mascots now coming over this side of the ice is now Werner Winkler with a long shot in, and this is now picking up. I don't know if we're going to see many whistles from here. You get a sense the tempo is increasing and a long play. We wonder how long Arado is going to stay in goal for Italy. They have to push it through to extra time. It's still a ways out yet with over 2 minutes to go, but the thought starts to develop in their mind. as to when they're likely to get a stop and play, maybe an offensive zone face-off, and look to create these advantages. Here's Pedersen. Pedersen's going to try to bury things and put it to bed as he's drawn a penalty.
Another penalty against the Italians. I believe it is Gianluigi Rosa, number 3. And this is just terrible for the Italian side. 2 minutes, 2 seconds left. They will be shorthanded essentially the rest of the game.
Norway in a glorious position. They have the 1-0 lead. We are 2:02 remaining in this third period and potentially the hockey game as we look back on the Pedersen penalty. And who do they take off the ice? It's Rosa, and that's a huge loss for Italy.
He got the free hand on Pedersen, yanked him to the ice. It's a clear-cut penalty. With 2 minutes now to go in this hockey game, the Norwegians will likely be happy just to pass the puck around, maintain possession, keep it away from the Italians, and make sure they have a couple bodies back at all times so they don't get caught.
Patience, and of course, it's about not making an offensive mistake that will lead to a transition from Italy. That's going to be lofted. It's off the end glass. That's fine. Planker comes back to get it. Remember, there's no Rosa anymore. Rosa, who generally is the player who is marshaling things for the Italians, is in the box and will be watching for what looks to be the remainder of this game. And now deep in the corner, they're just as happy, aren't they? Just to move this puck around in a good position here for Bakke. Bakke, a shot again. It's elevated, but it keeps things alive and keeps things recycled. And it's come back again. Leperti's just given it easily for Pedersen. Pedersen just banks it off the boards. He knows his angles as well as anybody who has played the game. And this one won't be kept out. Leperti advancing forward. Maybe Italy with a little bit of a break going to the net. Doesn't make the pass accurately enough, and that will really unhook what could have been a glimmer of a chance there. Pedersen has the puck go behind him. Will that go for icing? And just fortunate there, it doesn't go for icing against Norway.
The Italians have the puck right now. I'm surprised the goaltender's not going to the bench. There's 40 seconds left. They need to get another player on the ice to try to even things up. They have to win this game in regulation.
And nothing has happened as yet. They seem to be standing by. Maybe now when the puck's gone in the offensive zone, even still. Arado stays in, and they almost look resigned, and you can see the body language on the bench for the Italian coaches. They are just standing watch and suggesting this is all we had, and this is as much as we could give here today.
Well, they're not even looking at the goaltender, Arado. 10 seconds left. This game is over. Arado never looking at the bench. The coach is never looking at the goaltender. They make no effort to get him off the ice. And the Norwegians have won. It will be Norway playing in the bronze medal game against the Republic of Korea.
And you just could not have predicted it. The way things went with the way the Italians beat the Republic of Korea in that shootout, you thought for certain that they were going to be by right. And now for Italy, it's not even sure that they're going to qualify from this tournament directly, as they will be in that 5th-6th game tomorrow, and it's still a little bit nasty going on behind. Caligaris came in late on Rolf Einar Pedersen, and that's what led to all of the melee going on. There's just one player there, Cavalier, still involved as the Norwegian players are celebrating.
And you know what? Cavalier, the linesman was trying to pull him out of that scrum. He swung his stick back, and with the butt end of his stick, seemed to hit the linesman in the hand. You better be careful that that doesn't get another look here, as that is a nasty play by Gianluca Cavalier, obviously frustrated. The Norwegians celebrating. what a span of 24 hours for the Norwegian. We see Kissinger Deng, the other goaltender. He's got a big personality. Had a chance to chat with him before the game. You get the sense he's somebody that all his teammates certainly enjoy, and the Norwegians celebrate now as it looked like they might be without an opportunity to play for a medal yesterday morning, and now here they are in the third place game against the Republic of Korea. A great effort by the Norwegians. They played a terrific game. They only end up needing one goal, but boy, did they shut things down defensively. The Italians, to my count, had one good opportunity, and it was in the third period on a low shot from Gianluigi Rosa. But a really uninspired first two periods of play by the Italians. Perhaps the fatigue caught up to them. And then in the third period, just penalties at absolutely crucial times where they cannot take them. A 3-on-1, and Leperdi takes a penalty, and then with 2 minutes to go in a one-goal game where you have to score a goal, and Rosa takes a penalty. It's pretty simple when you break it down why the Italians weren't able to win this hockey game, and Norway benefits from it.
It really was, considering what we saw 24 hours ago, and that's why we equally were just hoping for Italy's sake that they were going to be able to deliver everything that they had left to offer. And unfortunately, they had left as much as they really were able to bring to this tournament in yesterday's game, it feels, emotionally and physically, as we now are waiting for the Player of the Game awards to be presented.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now award the best player of Team Italy.
관중 여러분, 먼저 이탈리아 팀 최우수 선수에 대한 시상이 있겠습니다.
The award will be presented by Mr. Soo-Hoon Lee.
이승훈님께서 시상해 주시겠습니다.
The best player of Team Italy
이탈리아 팀 최우수 선수
is number 6, Gianluca Cavaliere.
6번 잔류카 카바리에.
The captain, Gianluca Cavaliere, as you say, hopefully for his sake, he didn't pick up anything late there with a little bit of that extra stuff that was going on with the linesman, and he was the only lone Italian down there with all of the Norwegians, and that, of course, is just a recipe for possible trouble.
Well, he's certainly frustrated at the end of the game, and 45-year-old gets the Player of the Game award. He missed the 2015 World Championship after breaking 4 ribs in a pre-tournament game. So he's certainly happy to be participating here in 2017. His team now will have a big game where they have to win against Sweden to get that automatic qualification to the Paralympics.
Best player of Team Norway
And now for Norway.
최우수 선수
is number 23, Jan Roger Klokke.
And a pretty comfortable call there with Klakeg, who scores the only goal, the winning goal, and his first goal of this tournament for Norway. And he had an outstanding hockey game. Forget the goal. He was so active offensively from that blue line position. An outstanding performance from him, and he comes across to get his Player of the Game award.
Really nice game from 23 Klakeg. He was the captain of this team at the 2014 Paralympics, as I mentioned. Played club football as well when he was younger. He's 33 years old, so he's been an athlete from day one. He was the best athlete on the ice in this game for the Norwegians. We see in the top right of the screen one of our crew members, Jono, who was a bit of a celebrity earlier. He was up on the Jumbotron, hanging out, doing some interviews. So we get set now to hear the Norwegian national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now play the anthem of the winning team. Please honor the anthem of Team Norway.
관중 여러분, 승리팀의 국가 연주가 있겠습니다. 노르웨이 팀 국기를 향해 주시기 바랍니다.
Handshakes now between Norway and Italy. You heard on the loudspeaker, the first game tomorrow will be between the 5th place team, which will be Italy, and the 6th place team, which will be Sweden. Sweden really had a tough go of it in this tournament, but they pick up a victory over Germany in their final game of the preliminary round yesterday, and now they have an opportunity to play for automatic qualification to the Paralympics, so a good story for the Swedes as well. As handshakes all around now between all the players, the coaches, and the officials. As they do a lap of the ice, and some of the Italian players saluting fans in the stands as well. At the end of the day, it's a great competition, and both of these teams will certainly have something to play for tomorrow.
Well, they certainly will, and you know, that's really, of course, what we all play for to get here to the business end of the tournament, to actually have a determination as to where teams are going to finish and how things are going to actually lay out after all the 6 games of preliminary play and 21 games now officially in the books. And you would have thought, oh, well, you've seen a few surprises over the last 24 hours. In fairness, we've seen a few surprises throughout the entire tournament. Republic of Korea probably the #1 as far as how they've come through and been so excellent. Then we saw a surprise defeat of them. They also kept the Canadians so close, and the Italians, like you say, that surprise defeat. Then Sweden find a way to beat Germany, which looked to be against the odds. And then you find Norway here with a victory over Italy. So every team a part of the overall puzzle and the overall story that is these Gangneung 2017 World Para Ice Hockey Championships. And great scenes here from the Norwegians, who really are having a moment of pause as they have guaranteed themselves an opportunity to compete again at this tournament in a year's time, just under, when it's the Paralympic Games. So great scenes here inside the Gangneung Hockey Center, and it's really hard to believe what we saw there, but of course you witnessed it just like we did as we'll look back at the highlights of this game.
Well, Norway in the 3rd period, all they had to do was try to shut down the Italians to make sure they didn't get on the board. Italy did manage, I'd say, one good chance in this period, and here it is. It's Leperti getting it back to Rosa. He has a good look from the top of the slot. He puts it on goal, trying to find a seam. He gets it on net, but Hammer there to make the save. A lot of traffic in front of the net here, and this was definitely the best chance of the hockey game by Italy, but it was too little and it was too late. There wasn't enough of these opportunities. And here's the interference penalty. Top of your screen, Leperti right there. Interference call. The Italians might think it's a tough one, especially at that point in the game, but by the letter of the law, it is a penalty. It led to some opportunities here as Pedersen rings one off the bar, and Norway was able to shut it down the rest of the way as they end up picking up the victory in this game.
It was the defense actually coming in off the blue line for Norway. Klakkeg who gets the goal, even at the end there, to have Rosa off the ice in the last 2 minutes of this game ultimately, and not having him an opportunity to set the table offensively, to come forward for the Italians. And we talked about that battle between Pedersen and between Rosa, and it's only small margins, but probably collectively as a defensive unit, Norway were a little bit better than the Italian defense today, and ultimately that's where the goal came from the Norwegian defense. So it really wasn't, I think really the forwards canceled each other out. We didn't see as much from some of the game breakers from the Italians, but that's the way she unraveled today, as we finally do have our final day fixtures. And in that 5th, 6th game to start at 11 o'clock tomorrow, Italy will take on Sweden to determine who is going to win that game and get automatic placement through to Pyeongchang, the Paralympic tournament. The bronze medal match, Republic of Korea and Norway, and then the gold medal match, Mike, coming up as we predicted.
Games are going to be a lot of fun to watch tomorrow, and we hope to see you when they all start at 11 o'clock local time here in the Republic of Korea. Italy against Sweden, the Italians coming off a bit of a deflating performance and a deflating loss. They'll have to bring a good game against the Swedes, who beat Germany, to get into that game. And it's going to be a really interesting setup as we get set for tomorrow. Right now downstairs, we have an opportunity to hear from the only goal scorer in this game. It's Klakkeg from Norway.
So you just won out there, a very close match against Italy to advance to the bronze medal game as well as qualify for the Paralympics. How were you feeling after you scored that goal?
It was a very important game, and it was very important to get the first goal and to get the game into our hands. So it felt very good, yeah. It was very nice.
And Team Norway started the tournament in a little bit of a rough patch, but then you really improved as the week went on. How were you able to come together as a team?
We made it very difficult for us, and we had to stay to the plan and work ourselves into a better, to get the right results to keep fight for the bronze medal.
And now you play the home team here for the bronze medal tomorrow. What's going to be your game plan heading into the medal round?
Do the plan like we are. We just yeah. It's gonna be difficult, so we have to do it easy and do the job from the beginning, and hopefully we take it all the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You hear Jan Klakek saying it's going to be a difficult game against the Republic of Korea, but you also hear in the background all those Norwegian players yelling and screaming and celebrating. What an emotional time for them as they pick up a huge win in a game against a very good Italian team in this tournament, but certainly not the best effort from Italy in this one. For Norway, though, huge elation in this game, and now they'll ride some of that momentum into what will be a difficult game, as you heard there, against a Republic of Korea team that has played a phenomenal tournament so far.
And they, of course, Republic of Korea beat Norway earlier on in this tournament, and you saw how heartbroken, particularly Pedersen was in that hockey game. As you remember back, he was player of the game, and he was frustrated, didn't necessarily actually stay around to have a photo with the player with the Republic of Korea at the time, and they were really disjointed after that one. And they come back now and have an opportunity to compete for all the marbles, which is a bronze medal in that game, and it's going to be interesting to see who has the best game to put forward in that one. So all the action still to come. The final day has arrived. We are wrapping up here on game day number 7 from inside the Gangneung 27 World Para Ice Hockey Championships. For Brent Pope and for Mike Kelly, it's been our pleasure. Make sure to join us tomorrow. It's where it's all going to count.